Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. We are on ayah number 133 of Surah Al-Baqarah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, أَمْ كُنْتُمْ شُهَدَاءَ إِذْ حَضَرَ يَعْقُوبَ الْمَوْتُ إِذْ قَالَ لِبَنِيهِ مَا تَعْبُدُونَ مِنْ بَعْدِي قَالُوا نَعْبُدُ إِلَهَكَ وَإِلَهَ آبَائِكَ إِبْرَاهِيمَ وَإِسْمَاعِيلَ وَإِسْحَاقَ إِلَهًا وَاحِدًا وَنَحْنُ لَهُ مُسْلِمُونَ. The reason for this ayah is that the Yahud told the Prophet ﷺ, do you not know that Yaqub ﷺ ordered his sons to be Jews on his deathbed? And so in response to this, Allah Jalla wa Ala sends down this ayah, Am kuntum. So the word is a word of rejection to mean bal, meaning nay. So the way we would understand it is to mean bal akuntum, nay, were you witnesses? Shuhada, from shaheed, witness. When death approached Yaqub, he said to his sons, Ma ta'buduna, from ibadah. Ibadah has this root meaning of being lowly. They say tariqun mu'abbad, a path which is lowly, so it is easy to traverse, not rocky and hilly. So what will you worship after me? And worship in the Shar'i sense is to obey Allah Jalla wa Ala with humility and love and veneration. So again, it has this idea of being lowly and humble. They said, we will worship your God. Of course, that is Allah. We all agree to that. Even the Yahud will agree to that. And the God of your fathers. The plural is Aba. And who are these fathers? It says, Ibrahim, Ismail, and Ishaq. These three names are given. Now, Ibrahim is the forefather of Yaqub. That is clear. He is his grandfather. And Ishaq is the father of Yaqub. That's clear enough. But why is Ismail mentioned? Ismail alayhi salam is the half-brother of Ishaq, which then makes him the half-uncle of Yaqub. But he's not a forefather. Well, the answer is that an uncle, that is to say your paternal uncle, is just as good as your father. The Prophet said, Al-am sinwu abi, that the paternal uncle is like a twin of the father. And you would have noticed this yourself. If you have paternal uncles, you will find great similarities between them and your own father. It's a similar thing between your mother and her sister. The Prophet said that the khala, the maternal aunt, is on the status of the mother. So this is at least one reason why Ismail is brought under the umbrella of the forefathers. And also notice the word father is used. We'll come to that in just a minute. Ilahan wahidan, one ilah. Ilah means something which is ma'bud, worshipped. So there are many aliha, many things which are worshipped, but the one who is worthy of worship is only one and singular and unique. And notice the key word, وَنَحْنُ لَهُ مُسْلِمُونَ. This is the word used. Not Yahud, not Nasara, not anything else. Muslimun, this is the key word, or the word equivalent in their language. They would not have been speaking Arabic, but you get the idea. Also, Ismail is mentioned before Ishaq because Ismail was 14 years older than Ishaq alayhi salatu wasalam. So reflecting on this ayah, we find that Tawheed is the inheritance of the prophets. This is what they leave behind for their children and for their ummah. They do not leave behind any money or houses and real estate and so on. Any wealth that they have is given in charity, but their inheritance and their legacy is Tawheed and all that which it entails. So you see here on his deathbed, Yaqub alayhi salam is making sure that his sons, and we mentioned 12 names previously, that they should be worshipping the true deity, not some false deity. We may take an obvious lesson that prophets are humans, because here is Yaqub on his deathbed and humans die. We may take that even on your deathbed you can give a wasiyah, meaning to say you can order somebody to do something on your behalf after your death. But the condition to this is that you must be in a state in which you know what you are saying and understand what you are saying. If we have reasons to think that this person on his deathbed is delirious and does not truly fathom what he is saying, then we give his statements no consideration whatsoever. We may take that it is permissible to call the paternal uncle as a father if it is taghliban. What this means is that if you're mentioning the father, you can mention the paternal uncle under the same umbrella. For example, they say al-qamaran, the two moons, referring to the moon and the sun, because the sun will come under the umbrella of the moon. They say taghliban, which means to overcome. It's a particular style in the Arabic language. We may take from this ayah that in inheritance matters, the grandfather takes the place of the father in most cases. And the way we can take this is because the word aba, fathers, is used, and yet the people being referred to are Ibrahim, Ismail and Ishaq. Now Ishaq is a father, sure enough. Ismail we have spoken about, it is min bab al-taghlib. But Ibrahim is the grandfather of Yaqub, not the father. But they say that the grandfather is referred to as the father. And so likewise in inheritance matters, the grandfather takes the place of the father in the absence of the father. And this is the case in pretty much all cases of inheritance except for the umuriyatain situations. And the detail of that is in the fiqh presentation. We also notice from this ayah that people are inclined to follow their forefathers. Is that a good thing? Well, in vast majority of cases that is a bad thing because they're following their forefathers in kufr. But in this particular case, however, it is a good thing because they're following their forefathers in tawheed. But what is true to say is that this force of wanting to follow your forefathers is one of the greatest forces known amongst mankind. It is maybe the biggest reason why most of mankind is upon kufr, because they are simply following their forefathers and their culture. فَلَا تَكُ فِي مِرْيَةٍ مِمَّا يَعْبُدُ هَؤُلَاءِ مَا يَعْبُدُونَ إِلَّا كَمَا يَعْبُدُ آبَاؤُهُمْ مِنْ قَبْلِ وَإِنَّا لَمُوَفُّوهُمْ نَصِيبَهُمْ غَيْرَ مَنْقُوصٍ. Be not in any doubt, Allah Jalla wa Ala says in Surah Hud, about what these people are worshipping. They are only worshipping what their forefathers worshipped before, and we will repay them their deeds in full without any shortcoming. And perhaps the main lesson to be taken from this ayah is that Yaqub alayhi salam and his forefathers and his sons were Muslimun. We even have the word being used, as explicit as you can get. And so in this there is a rebuttal against the claims made by the Yahud. Ayah 134. تِلْكَ أُمَّةٌ قَدْ خَلَتْ لَهَا مَا كَسَبَتْ وَلَكُمْ مَا كَسَبْتُمْ وَلَا تُسْأَلُونَ عَمَّا كَانُوا يَعْمَلُونَ. Tilka, that was, ummah. We have spoken about this word ummah. It takes various meanings in the Quran, but in this particular ayah it means a nation. قَدْ خَلَتْ. The qad makes it into a perfect tense. Khalat not only means to be empty, but in the time context it means they have passed away. They will have what they kasabat, have earned from their actions and have sent before them on Yawm al-Qiyamah. وَلَكُمْ مَا كَسَبْتُمْ. You will have what you have earned from your actions, and you will not be asked about what they used to do. Okay, reflecting on this ayah, what might we take? We can take it's every man for himself. How is this? Because your forefathers had their actions, you have your actions. One has got nothing to do with the other. You will not be asked about your forefathers will not be asked about you. And every person is requited for their own actions. Yes, it's true, there are some exceptions. For example, if you teach others a good sunnah and they practice it, you will have a share of their reward, and the same goes for an evil sunnah as well. But other than that, it's every person take into account for their own deeds. In this ayah, there is also an indication to tell us that we do not speak about evil deeds of the Sahaba or trials and tribulations and fitan between the Sahaba, such as the civil wars, because we have nothing to do with that, and we will not be asked about that. When the Khalifa Umar ibn Abdul Aziz was asked about the civil strife between the Sahaba, he simply said that Allah has purified our swords from their blood, so we will purify our tongues from their honor. So in other words, we did not kill any of the Sahaba because Allah Jalla wa Ala saved us from that. So we will save our tongues from speaking ill of the Sahaba. And this is a poetic reply. In contrast to what we find the Shia doing, it is their whole reason of existence to insult and curse the Sahaba. This is the foundation of their deen. It is why they even exist. The deen of the Shia is founded upon hate. You must hate the Sahaba to be a Shia. And a deen which is founded upon hatred of righteous people cannot be the correct deen. As for us, we simply say, رَبَّنَا اغْفِرْ لَنَا وَلِإِخْوَانِنَا الَّذِينَ سَبَقُونَا بِالْإِيمَانِ وَلَا تَجْعَلْ فِي قُلُوبِنَا غِلًّا لِلَّذِينَ آمَنُوا رَبَّنَا إِنَّكَ رَءُوفٌ رَحِيمٌ. We also take that it is from the justice of Allah Jalla wa Ala that He will not ask us about the actions of those people who have preceded us. We will be asked about our actions. However, if the previous nation left behind an innovation which others followed, then yes, the previous nation can be asked about such matters, meaning to say they are responsible for misguiding people, so they will have to answer for that. The mantuq, meaning to say what is directly spoken in this ayah, is that we will not be asked about previous nations. The mafhum al-mukhalafa, meaning the antithesis of this ayah, is that we will be asked about our actions, and even actions of those who followed us, whether we misled them or whether we guided them. Ayah 135. وَقَالُوا كُونُوا هُودًا أَوْ نَصَارَى تَهْتَدُوا قُلْ بَلْ مِلَّةَ إِبْرَاهِيمَ حَنِيفًا وَمَا كَانَ مِنَ الْمُشْرِكِينَ. وَقَالُوا, and they said, meaning the Yahud and Nasara, what did they say? Be Jews or Christians, تَهْتَدُوا, you will be upon hidayah, guidance. قُلْ, say, O Prophet, بَلْ, meaning nay, the millah of Ibrahim. Millah we have spoken about. Hanifa. Hanifa means to incline to that which is good. It is the opposite of the verb janafa, which also appears in the Quran, which is to incline to that which is evil. So here it refers to inclining to Tawheed. وَمَا كَانَ مِنَ الْمُشْرِكِينَ. That's clear. We ask a question here, why is millah mansub bil-fatha? And the answer is that there is an implied verb in the ayah, which would then read, بَلْ نَتَّبِعُ, we follow millata Ibrahim Hanifa. But the verb is not explicitly used because it is implied and understood. So therefore the word millah being mansub bil-fatha would be a maf'ul, that is to say the passive participle. The word Hanifa is also mansub bil-fatha. Why is this? It is describing Ibrahim, so it's saying he was a Hanifa, as in kana Hanifa. But you do not see the verb kana, it is implied. We may pick up from this ayah that people of batil call to their batil. Now nowadays you may not find Jews and Christians calling to their deen too much, but you do find people upon the godless, secular lifestyle calling to that type of lifestyle. So in every day and age there will be people of misguidance calling to misguidance. And we find that our answer is going to be the same all the way through, that we follow the millah of Ibrahim. So in other words, you counteract the batil with the truth. You put out the fire with the water. You burn out the darkness with the light. We find that the deen of the Anbiya does not have any shirk. It is pure Hanif, inclining to Tawheed. And this ayah also hints that the deen of the Nasara and the Yahud does have shirk in them. Every kafir has some sort of shirk. Either he is worshipping other gods, in which case this is shirk clearly, but even if he is an atheist, or even a Jew or a Christian, then this is still shirk with regards to following your desires and putting them on the status of Allah Jalla wa'ala. Wallahu a'lam.